Hello guys, Nigel with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Another kit review time, and yeah, it's a kit here that's arrived finally. Good old UPS. They were supposed to collect from Ed over at Premium Hobbies on Friday for a Saturday delivery. I was going to pay extra for Saturday delivery, and they didn't bother turning up, so they couldn't deliver anything on Saturday. So then I got an email to say it was coming yesterday, which can't be true because they hadn't even collected it. And then I got an email to say it was coming this morning by 10:30, then it was 12:15, then it was 2:15, and then it was by end of day. So when the driver came, I said, you better start looking for another job, mate, because your company's going down the pan. It's ridiculous. So yeah, personally, in my experience lately, FedEx has been very, very good. But I think they tend to sort of shift around in their sort of quality of delivery. And also they tend to move around a lot in price, apparently. So, and UPS, I know from past experience in my last company, I know UPS, their contracts are extremely competitive. So I've never had problems with UPS before. Only the last sort of year, they've been an issue. They used to be absolutely bloody brilliant. Anyway, so what's the kit I've got? It's a big one. A few weeks ago, I had an email from one of my followers, John. You will know who you are. And he said, my God, have you seen the detail in that German Halftrack over at Andy's hobby headquarters? So I went and had a look, and I only watched about 5 minutes of the video, and I turned it off and went straight over to Edit Premium Hobbies and said, can I have one of those, please? And then replied to John and said, yeah, I got one on order, mate. So here it is. Finally, this is the Werk 1/16 Sdkfz.251, is it? 251? Yes, 251/1 Ausf.D. And it's, as you can see, it's a German Halftrack. It's a big old box. It's big. You can see it up against my shoulders. It's a big old box, and it's very, very deep. It's also quite heavy. It says on the front of the box here, 100% Werk production. So whether they're trying to say this ain't Takum, I don't know. I think Takum do their moulding for them. But it does say on the box here, it says it was engineered in China. We'll look at the box in a second. Engineered in Germany, sorry, made in China. So we've got 4 versions there. We've got Fuji division, March, April 44. We've got the Das Reich, July 1944. We've got Jaeger division, April 45, Bohemia, Deutschbrod. And then we've got the Pzgren Rigid 25 12th Panzer Division, November 44, Eastern Front, Kurland. And they've all got quite an interesting camouflage on them. But that isn't why I got them. You know, I'm a sucker for, I love interior detail and stuff. If you haven't seen what's in this kit, you're going to enjoy this review. So without further ado, let me get the camera above the bench and we'll have a look. I mean, I can tell you I'm not going to be able to get this in on the camera over the bench. So there we go, there's the front. So you can see that now. And we'll have a look. I don't know if it says anywhere figures not included. Probably aren't any figures in, but it's got workable tracks and suspension. So it looks very, very nice indeed. I haven't even looked inside the box yet, so let's have a look together for the first time. And just before we start the review, yes, black Mr. Surfacer. I've got 5 jars of it now. So there we go. Sorry, 4 jars. One of them's thin for spraying. So it's back in stock. So fill your boots, go get yourselves, guys. Go get yourself some, guys. That's what I meant to say. So here's the box. As I say, it's huge. I mean, this you can see here. This is actually the extremes. You see my fingers? That is the extremes of an A2 cutting mat. So you can see how big the box is because obviously the camera sort of triangulates everything, doesn't it? So you can see here it's Das Werk up in the top left-hand corner, and then we've got Sdkfz.251 SD. Jason 2023 seems to do a lot of their stuff. 100% Das Werk production, and you can see we've got highly detailed static plastic model, workable tracks and suspension, full interior detail including engine, interior bottom plates detachable, and 4 marking options. And those 4 marking options are here, as you can see. Very, very nice indeed. Some interesting camo schemes then. I believe these things just came out of the factory in sand colour, and then the camouflage was done in the field, so you can do it as rough as you like. The end of the box is basically the same as the front, and they go around the side so you can see CAD models of the actual model there built up. And here you can see some of the detail. And yes, that's fuel lines, and they're in there. It's amazing. It's one of the nicest detail kits I've ever seen. So saying on here, detailed running gear with torsion bar suspension like the original, detailed engine with openable engine cover plates. Floor plate segments can be displayed individually. Armour with realistic welds made from multiple split armour plates. Doors can be built open closed. Swinging front axle with steering angle can be displayed. Detailed brake and fuel system. Wow. I'm not sure if they're saying there the front wheels can be displayed steered. So that would be nice if you can. So going in the box, let's have a quick look in here. Very, very thin box lid. So if you get your kit and the box lid's a bit damaged, don't worry about it. This box is okay, but the actual box, the lid, is not very nice at all. Just going to put my other phone away, my other camera should I say. Put that out of the way over there. So you can see here we've got many, many bags of sprues. And you can see it's Tackham Heritage straight away. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 sprues. And in the bottom here is a bag of bits. That's what I was after. Why do they keep doing this? They put the decals facing up and then the sprues all slide around and damage them. Why don't they put them the other way up? Right, so let's put this to one side and have a look at what we've got in this little bag. So as you can see, this has got Tackham written all over it. You've got Andy's Hobby headquarters. He did the Sherman, didn't he? And that was in combination with Tackham. And then you had the little Willys Jeep come out. That was Tackham. And then we had the Tiger. I think that was Tackham. But Andy's Hobby headquarters, Das Werk, a few other people used Tackham. So lovely decal sheet there. And luckily, there is a small dent in there, but it's between those letters. There's a small dent there inside the two. I don't know why manufacturers can't put the box like that, put the decals face down. I don't know why they do it. They all do it. It's not just Tackham. They all do it. But sometimes it's worse than that. So nice decal sheet. So I'll look at those in a minute. Right, so let's have a look at this manual. Okay, so let's have a look at this instruction manual. I started looking at this and I realised I had glare off of the light. So get rid of that glare. Should look a lot better now, yes. So you can actually see what's going on. So here we go, we've got the instructions, we've got all the colour callouts on the front here, all in ammo MIG, unfortunately. It's easy to cross-reference. But then saying that, the colours are sort of very generic. It's a German World War II tracked vehicle. You know, you've got your brown and your green, or your sand and your green, and then you're going to have red, oxide, cream, rust, dirt, black, steel. It's just going to be all generally general colours. So going into the manual, very interesting. So you've got the sprue callouts there, very nicely done, and all separate parts. I'm not seeing any photo etch, which is very unusual for a kit this size. It looks like there is no photo etch. That's going to be great news for a lot of people. So here we are, straight into the build. We've got the tubes going here for the torsion bars, and they're going to sandwich the main chassis rails, the floor going up underneath. We've got a lovely strong rear cross member there, another cross member there. That's going to be, is that for our idlers going back there? So that's very nice. I've got this assembly here. This is going to be the shock absorbers for the front end. And then, have I missed a page here? Yes, I have. And then we've got the side plates going on here. Side plates going onto the main hull. More shock absorbers going in there, and then bits and pieces and bracketry going on the front. And then repeat for the other side. Looks like we've got all these parts separate, so you get lovely detail, your bolt heads and everything. So they don't have to slide mold it, which is nice. And then we've got torsion bars going in, and looks like we've got linkages here for the shock absorbers. Now, I'm not seeing any do not glue symbols, so be very careful what you do in here. And I'm also looking to see, where is the square end? Okay, the square end is there. So basically the torsion bar is going to go through, and you've got a square end and a round hole. A square hole and a round hole. So the torsion bar is going to go into one side and then out of the other. So that torsion wire is going to come through that hole and into that square hole there. We'll see that in a minute on the plastic. So yeah, make sure you're paying attention to what you're gluing and not gluing. You might end up having this all glued down and it'll all be in its upper state without any weight on it. It'll look a bit silly. So there we go, doing the same here, and then there's more of the same going on. Front axle going together. Looks like it's a 2-piece axle, or a 3-piece axle even, maybe even 4 pieces with a single leaf spring. You've got your trailing arms there, or leading arms, leading links. More shock absorber mounts. I seem to remember on the box it said something about a swiveling axle. I can't see there how you can have a swiveling axle unless it just clips in. Unless it just clips in and you don't glue it. Wheel hubs there going on. Looks like with some careful assembly here, we pin that. You can get these king pins to steer, so that's good. We've got the wheels going in there, vinyl tyres by the look of it. And then we've got some tyres for the actual tracked wheels as well. And then we've got some gearbox parts. There's our main sprockets going together. You're going to make 2 of those. Worth noting with these, I remember reading somewhere, if you compare this to a T34, T34 tracks had a pin that knocked to the track, knocked to the pin, that had a pin, just a simple pin between each track link, and on the back of the hull there was a ramp, and as the tracks went round, the ramp would actually push the track pin back in case it started to come out. The Germans had needle rollers in every track link, and all of this here was all bearings as well. Very, very complicated piece of kit, these things. So we've got a fuel tank, what looks like a gearbox there with a UJ on the end of it. Another tank there, that could be like some sort of hydraulic tank or air tank or something, I'm not sure. Maybe even reserve fuel tank. Battery, all that details going in. And then we're going to move on to the fans. You can see there with their separate fan belts and everything. Radiator going together and then bringing all that together. Building up the engine, lots and lots of parts going onto the engine. Lots and lots of detail, lots of painting. Not sure if there's more pipe work we can add. I don't think there is. I'm not sure if it's a petrol or a diesel engine. It's probably petrol. So there probably would be spark plug leads perhaps, or they're in a conduit, which is there. But yeah, I'll have to have a look and see what detail can be added. I don't think there's a lot. And then going over the page, we've got a gearbox here, some sort of transmission going together there. And then we've got a very, very complex pedal assembly. All this is going on here. And then coming over the page again, we've got some detail being added. There's some rifles there going into their racks. Another gun there, machine gun. And this is all going into this forward section now. And then you've got your rifle gun racks there going into the sides. So again, you could have this as a museum piece or have it all weathered and chipped to hell. And then we've got some seats going together here. I'm taking these are the driver and the passenger seats, or whatever the passenger is. Maybe some kind of navigator or aimer or whatever, I don't know. We've got some seats going in the back there. And then we're going to assemble our, we've got this, whatever that is there, I'm not sure what that is. That looks like it's one of the fenders actually there. So yeah, it is a fender with an air filter in it. So that's good. And then we've got some track links going together here. So you've got, yeah, you're going to glue these together. So you're going to make up 55 or 110 of those. So you've got 2 parts going and each one's going to sandwich the one next to it. So that's pretty cool. And then coming over the page, you've got a radio. It looks like we've got a decal on there, is it? Is that a decal going on there? They've got colours. I can't see anything about putting a decal on there. But we do have decals for the radio gear and stuff there, so there we are. Engine cover going on with the engine cover plates there. Leave those unglued. You'd have to glue all this up because it's obviously all bolted, welded joints, whatever. Here we've got the upper sides of the body, the main body going in. So they're going on there. And then more and more going together. More and more pieces. We've got the observation ports there going into the front. And then here we've got fire extinguishers going in, and we've actually got the decals on here, which we didn't get with the Stug, which I must finish. There's the entrance doors going into the back, the crew doors, and the big towing pintle or towing eye, whatever it's called in Germany. And then finally, final assembly, lots going on here. We've got what looks like to be some sort of armoured shield. Is that a gun rack for putting a gun on? Don't know why it's got that radius on it. Got some plates going underneath there, and then we've got little bits and pieces. We've got tools with clamps, mirror stalks, more tools with clamps, more mirrors, and then here we've got the machine gun going together. It's got a separate cooling jacket. That looks very nicely done. And then the machine gun's going onto there. We've got the armor shield for the machine gunner there. And then yeah, we've got the machine gun going forward and machine gun going aft. That's an MG51, is it? Or 31, whatever it is. So there, and again, all the paint callouts for the inside. And then here we've got our 4 options. So Jaeger Division April 45, and then the Panzer Grenadier Regiment 25, November 44th from Kurland. And then going over the page here, we've got Das Reich, July 1944 from France, and then Fischjug Division, March, April 44, Italy, Anzio area. So I quite like the ones with the brown and the green camo. Not sure which is the nicest. Probably that's the nicest one, isn't it? But that would be the easiest to do because it's all just random. And then here, Wingnut Wing style, we've got the team that came together and designed the kit. So that's all very nice. And on the back here, we've got some more stuff coming. So there's a 1/16 scale Stuck 3 with Winter Kette on it. And then some 1/35 scale stuff. It'd be nice to see them do a FAMO, wouldn't it, in 16th scale with a tank transporter trailer to put your Stug on that on. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Right, so let's have a look at the plastic. Before we do that, we'll have a quick look at the decals. You can see here, we can get these open because they are resealable. We can have a good look at these and see what they're like. So, there we go. Very nicely done, all in register. Very nicely done. Doesn't say anything about cartograph or anything, it just says Das Werk. I hope they're better than the Taka ones that came with the Apache. You can see here there's the radio decals there. I think this is going to bark. Sorry about that, guys, I think she's finished now. So you can see we've got our little bits and pieces for the radios here. We've got all our registration plates there. We've got decals for the inside, for instrument panels and stuff. We've got some data placards as well. There's your decals for your fire extinguishers. And then we've got some data labels there as well. So all very, very nice indeed. Looks like they've thought of absolutely everything on here. So we're going to get those straight back in the bag so we don't get anything on them. Guarantee I'm going to spill a cup of tea on them or something. Or a can of beer, more likely in my case. So they can go away there. And then here we've got what looks like probably a correction sheet. So they've got sprue Z there, sprue Z 3, and then sprue H 4. So probably the numbers are missing off the sprue, that's all that is. So that's quite helpful. So we've been through the instructions, we've been through all the decals and everything. Let's have a look at some plastic. So I'm just going to go through these as they come out of the box, so in no particular order. And what we have to do is find somewhere to put the sprues once we've looked at them. Okay, so we're starting off here with sprue M. Let's get the light back over again because we don't have the reflection problems. And all I can say is very, very crisp. It needs washing as well, it feels oily. But yeah, very, very crisp. 16th scale, remember guys, it's quite big, always looks a bit chunky. When you look at stuff like this, it always looks like, you know, it's got nice detail up. But if it was 35th, it would be all tiny and little tiny bolts, like half that size. 16th, it all tends to look a little bit chunky, but of course it does because it's big. But yeah, very nice indeed. Straight away notice here on the pedals, they've got the sprue connection points actually on the face of the pedals. And I would have thought those pedals should have like a tread plate effect on them. So no doubt somebody will come up with a photo etch for that. So we've got a small little shaft there. Little levers for the pedals. Very nice. Some more control linkages here. Looks like a steering column. But very, very nicely done. The sprue injection points, the sprue gates look quite nice. It's nice to see quite large ones here because it means the plastic flows in fast. You don't get these weak points between the sprue gates. But yeah, that's very nice indeed. See that massive UJ or whatever it is there. Some kind of UJ, isn't it? So yeah, very nice indeed. So that was sprue M. And then the next one here, sorry about the noise with the bags guys, but I don't want to get it all out and then realise I haven't got enough bags to put it all back in. So what I do is put the bag on top of that last sprue, and then when this goes on top, I know the one under this is the one for this sprue. So this is sprue C. Here you've got our major sidewalls there. So you've got interior and exterior. We're not worried about this on here because that's all getting covered up by boxes and stuff. And then we've got the forward end here, so this is exterior and that's interior. Again, I think we'll probably have to get rid of those ejector pin marks there. But honestly, ejector pin marks on parts this size, we can excuse that. Really, we can. That would have come out of the sprue that way because you've got those Z-pins holding it there. So very nice indeed. That one doesn't feel oily at all. But tiny little bit of flash around there. You can see we've got bolt detail and everything on here, which is all very nicely done. I'm not sure about accuracy, but we've got bolt detail there, which is all nice. I think this would look really good built as like a museum piece, unweathered, just all clean and immaculate, because the detail inside it is just unbelievable. Here we go, these bags are going to start playing me up now. Go away. Right. So this one is sprue U. So there's that radio with the decal that goes on there. So you can see it's got lots of fine detail on it. And then we've got an air filter there. And then we've got, looks like the fire extinguishers are made up in separate pieces. So you can get all the lovely detail on them. Hopefully they'll go together nicely. So you can see you've got a major part there and then the little segments there. That is part of the fire extinguisher, isn't it? I'm sure it is. I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the last time, the first time, or the last time actually. That's that radius ring that goes around the front, I think. More pedal linkage parts by the look of it. But all in all, very nice indeed. More big chunky parts here. So let's have a look what we've got on here. There's our major chassis rails there, so you can see it's quite a big old model. Where's my rule? There's 150, 300. I mean, the chassis alone is about 315mm long, so it's going to be quite big. We've got some very, very shallow ejector pin marks in there. I would seriously suggest filling them because I think we are going to see down in there. And then we've got some Z-pins here which need to go. Cut them, don't just snap them. You might pull a chunk out of the plastic if you snap them. More Z-pins on here. And again, we have bolted detail here, but we've got ejector pin marks in between. But sensibly, they've got the ejector pin marks. They're very, very slightly shallow. They're not raised. And they're well away from the bolt, so they'll be easy to sand away. But there's our fuel tank there. Nicely done. And then there's the main floor with all the bolt detail underneath you can see on there. You can fill your boots with that one. So yeah, very nice indeed. Here we have another bag. This one's coming this way. And this is sprue F by the look of it. So sprue F looks like it's radiator. So we've got some radiator parts on there. Lovely, lovely mesh on the radiator. That's really nicely done. And then the vertical arms, there's the front axle there. Nice and strong. There's the leading arms there. And then we've got the front, that is the front leaf spring, isn't it? There, I'm not sure quite where so that's the pivot there. There's going to be another pivot that goes, another piece that goes on the back with the other pivot in it. So we'll have to see if that will actually clip in and it gives us a swinging axle. We've got radiator fan belts there. We've got fan belt there for the engine, and these are the fan belts for the radiators here. And we've got some tiny pipes. You can see this thing's covered in plastic pipe work. And instead of being vinyl pipes, it's actually moulded plastic. And that one there is broken already, as you can see. So, and that one there looks like it's not far behind it. It's fractured. So that's happened as it's come out of the tool, I expect. But this is what happens. I've said this many times before. The plastic rushes in here, it rushes in there, and it rushes down there, rushes along there, and it meets, and it goes down the channel, and it meets. And as it meets, it's just starting to cure, So instead of actually melding together as one, it kind of sticks to each other, and it's never going to be as good as, you know, a fully integrated single flow of plastic. The only option to that is cover it in tabs, have ejector pin tabs everywhere, and let the plastic flow into them so that it keeps flowing through. And then people had moaned that there'd be too much ejector pins and tabs to clean up. So these poor old manufacturers, they cannot win. Some sort of cross member there, it's like it's hollowed out. So thin out those holes from behind, make the plastic look thinner, that'll look good, look more like a sheet. This is going to go on for a little while, I think, guys. There's the end of this back. Here we go, this one here. There's a lot of sprues in this box, all just laid on top of each other, so a little bit of damage I think is going to be the norm, but we shall see. So this is sprue A. That looks like it's part of the gearbox or something. Lots of bits and pieces, some sort of cylinder there. We've got that steering arms. I'm guessing that's steering arms, steering linkages. Got some slide mold in there. Wow. But there's lots of little greeblies. You can see obviously got some hooks there. Some brackets that are going in the front fenders, I think. It's very, very fine parts here. Beautifully molded. You can see here we've got that's like the handbrake cable linkage there. We've got the adjuster there. We've got the gator there over the end. This is the cable. So, I mean, how many times have you seen that in a kit? Very, very beautifully done. All depends how it goes together though. These kit reviews are great, but all they show you is what you're getting in the box. You know, you can have a fantastic kit with fantastic detail that's all accurate and everything, and it goes together like a pig. So take kit reviews for what they are. They're a review that shows you what you're getting for your money. So here we have, I like that, there's some seats with the springs on them. Look, you've got the spring detail on them. And then we've got our gearbox plates there, and then some more plates there. That looks like the frame for the engine surround, and that's the engine covers. Probably part of the exhaust system there. Not exactly sure what that looks like, a horn there. But all in all, that's that radius plate that goes around the front. Ejector pin marks in there to get rid of, easy. Bit of super glue, just wipe them around, they'll be gone. And that looks like the rifle butt holders there. Looks like a very sort of interesting model to build. It'll just keep you going at different bits and pieces going all the time, rather than just, you know, undercarriage, tracks, hull. Okay, so we've got two of these. These are identical. This is sprue Y, and then we've got our machine gun with our separate parts for it, which is very nice indeed. There's a fire extinguisher. So that what I was looking at was not part of the fire extinguisher. It was probably part of a gun. So there's our pivots there for our main suspension arms. Padlocks. Little padlocks that they're going to go on. They've even got a little keyhole in them. I might take a mold off of them, so we'll use them on other things. So there's a rifle butt there by the look of it. I like butt. We've got some bump stops there, pivots there for our torsion bars, and there's our road wheels for our main front wheels there. Very nice indeed. Look at those tiny little pins moulded there. Little locking pins by the look of it. Beautiful. Little tiny sprue here. I don't need to get this one out. Yes, I will, because it's got some beautiful detail on it. This is sprue K. And this is obviously slide molded, and it's got some beautiful plate on there. It's not checker plate, it's dots. It's dots. It's obviously the German type, but that's you can see it's got some detail on there. It's very nice indeed. I'm going to put that back in its bag so it doesn't get damaged. I'm glad they put it in a soft bag like this so it doesn't get all scratched up. And then in here we've got another two identical sprues. And this is sprue A2 by the look of it. Let's have a look. No, we have to get two out together. They're intertwined. So put that one over there. Look at this one. Yeah, this is sprue A2. It's got a bit of a bow in it, not that it matters. There's a seat there. You've got some lovely, that look great with some wood effect, and then wear it away. You've got our rifles there, which are really, really nice. They've got no ejector pin marks on them. They've got the ejector tabs, which is cool. The actual finger trigger is beautifully done. Very, very nice indeed, these little rifles. So that'll look good with some paint. And then we've got our main sprockets there. And then more seat detail there. That looks so realistic, doesn't it? That's really nice. Very nice indeed. So moving along, another two identical sprues here. This is going to be, this looks like it's mainly suspension components. Got torsion bars and everything. So we'll put one over there. Yeah, we've got our torsion bar cases there. There's a little machine gun there. Remember, there's two of these. That looks like some sort of UJ. That's going to be some sort of drive shaft there. We've got fan, torsion bars there. So they're going to go through the holes in the side of the chassis. And then those square pegs are going to engage in the square holes in the chassis. So you'll have the actual torsion bar will twist, as did the real thing. So bearing caps there with the lovely bolt detail on them. See there? It's very nicely done. Got some more steering arms here, or is that part of the shock absorbers? That looks like it's part of the shock absorber linkage. And these were on the inside of these torsion bars. They go in there. I'm not quite sure exactly what they are, but all will become apparent when it's put together, no doubt. So there we go. Make sure the box doesn't fall off the bench. And then this one here, this is sprue E. Again, it's another big one. There's sprue E, and we've got front fenders here. There's the can there for the air cleaner. Lovely bolt detail on there, all very nicely done. It's going to take a wash and some filters and oils, and that's going to be lovely. Very nicely done indeed. There's the armour for the armour shield for the gun. And then there's the side doors with the arrow slits in them. Very nice. Clear parts. Looks like it's been dragged through it edge backwards. But the clear parts are all perfectly clear and unscratched and unmarked. That's good. And we can see there, look how nice they are. That's the that's for the vision blocks. You can see that they actually work. If you look up there, you will see my finger. See my finger? They actually work. So there you go. Definitely put these back in their bag. In fact, I'm going to put these back in their bag and leave them out of the box so I can put them in another bag. Another sprue here. This looks like engine parts. I've got the Trumpeter M16 up in the loft, which is the American Halftrack, but it's nothing like as nice as that kit. It's got lots of bits missing. But yeah, gearbox cases there. We've got the engine there, which is beautifully detailed, and then that looks like the back of the dashboard, the back of the instrument panel. That's lovely, isn't it? You put some cables coming out of there, unless they're already in the kit. There's the battery, exhaust manifold. Not sure where the inlet manifold is, but all very nicely done. It's lovely. Got the steering wheel there, which is nice. That's another part of the exhaust system, I think. Is that bell housing there with the starter motor lump in it? It looks like it is. So yeah, you can see there the engine looks beautifully detailed. And then here's our floor section here going in. That's our gear selector there in the middle. And there's going to be the end of the engine with the mounts on it. Little rubber biscuit mounts. Then we've got this bag here, which has got body parts in it. We're not finished yet, guys, I'm sorry. It just goes on and on, this one. So yeah, there is our forward bulkhead with our instrument panel. So that was the back of the instrument panel, so I've never seen the back of an instrument panel in a kit before. Very, very nice indeed. So you've got there the floor panel there with the tread plate on it. That's where your steering column is going to go. We've got some levers on there. We'll have to be very careful. They look as though they're moulded in, but they're almost getting broken off already. So I have to be very careful with them. It's too much. I wish they'd sorted their packaging a bit better. It's too much to have just chucked in one big deep box. I mean, the box is, it's 150, yeah, it's 210 mil deep. It's you know, it's just so much to be chucked in on top of each other, especially when you've got bits like this in there. So yeah, we'll have to replace those or just carefully bend them back, but I'll look at that if we build it. Not now. So that's really nice, obviously slide moulded. That's lovely. Very nice indeed. And then here's our main front cover. You can see how big this thing's going to be. There's your engine going to be in there. Very nice indeed. All the bolt detail on there, which is beautifully done. Is this slide moulded? I don't think it is. I don't think it needs to be. It just means you'll get a bit of an angle on the bottom of your bolt there, which you could scrape if you want to, but not really necessary. So again, I'm going to leave those out because I don't want that to get any more damaged. And then here we've got our wheels. I don't need to get these out, do I? Yes, I will, because we'll have a look at the tyres, because the tyres have lettering on them. They don't, but these back here do. So let's get rid of that. And we'll get rid of two of these. We've got three of those in the same. So you can see there we've got lettering on them. They've got Dunlop, and they've got 575 48.510. So I don't know how accurate that is. Would they have Dunlop tyres? But you can see these wheels are gorgeous. They actually look like pressed steel. They look beautiful, don't they? Very nice indeed. It's not over yet, guys. So here's another sprue. This is sprue D. Not that it matters, it just is. It's sprue blue. So here's those. Remember I mentioned these with the instructions. These are those vertical ribs. So they got all the lovely bolt detail on them. So you don't need to worry about having anything slide moulded. But they've got those Z-pins on them as well, so cut them off with care and then sand them back. That looks like the rear plate. You've got the door opening there for the rear doors to go in. There's the rear doors there, so you can have them posed open or closed. We've got an axe and yeah, I can't think what that's called. A pick. There we go, pick. So, and then there we've got another one of our torque tubes for our torsion bars. So that's all very nicely done. Looks like the front panel there. And then here we have a bag of 4 sprues. I'm not going to get these out. These are our links for our tracks. And as you can see, you have 4 sprue gates on these. And you have 3 sprue gates on these. So get a good film on. Get yourself a couple of plastic pots, cut them off, get a good film on and just sit there and sand them away while you watch and listen to the film. That weighs a ton, that little lot. And there's 4 of those, so there you go. Very nice indeed. And then here is the final sprue, I think. Yes, you'll be pleased to know this is the last one. We made it. So here we have final sprue, and this is our upper body sides here, And this looks like the complete internal floor, and this is the floor around the is that around the engine? Is that going to go around the engine, or is that around the I can't remember now from the instructions, but that's either around the engine or around the transmission. That's where the driver sits. I'm sure that's going to be where the driver sits, actually. I think they did have some sort of shelf around the engine, but not this one. So yeah, and then you've got a beautiful plate detail on there. I'm just going to look closely. It's dots. It's not crosses or X's or anything. It's dots. So it's just grit plate. It's not checker plate. And then here we've got these are the upper side panels. We've got what look like injection points on there, or is that bolts? They are injection points, so that's where the plastic's been injected into this sprue, is in through those 4 holes there. You've got some lovely detail on the inside, some ejector pin marks, but they're all slightly raised, so all you're going to do is come along with a sanding stick and just gently sand them away, and they'll be gone in no time. And obviously the ones under here don't matter at all. That's lovely. You can see the detail on that floor and on this one here. So you can paint that steel, give it a gloss coat, give it some hairspray, paint it red, white, whatever colour it's got to be, and then start to add some rust and stuff. It'll be lovely. Very nice indeed. Or build it as a museum piece so it's all spotless. And then finally we have our vinyl tyres. Unfortunately, guys, we have vinyl tyres, but don't worry, within about 5 minutes the aftermarket will have some resin wheels out for this kit. So we've got Continental tyres. They have all the lettering on the sides of them. They're quite soft. I'm not sure how good the tread pattern is, but there is a tread pattern on them. I'm not sure how accurate it is. But we've got extra Galande. Sounds like an ice cream, doesn't it? Continental. We've got the circles on there. So yeah, not quite sure if that doesn't look right to me, that track, but then I'm not sure, that tread, sorry, but I'm not sure about German World War II tread patterns, so I could be wrong. So there we go. That has been the brand new Werk German Halftrack Sdkfz.251/1 Ausf.D. The kit number is DW16005. Right, I'll save the bad news for the end. I got this from Ed at Premium Hobbies. He has none left. He's been in touch with Albion Hobbies, who are the importers for Werk, and they have none left. So if you find one of these at a retailer, at Hannant's, in a shop, whatever, and you want one, I suggest you buy it, because there are no more in the country. And it might take another 2 or 3 months to get more in. We just don't know. It seems to me at the moment, you just look at the Hong Kong Models A20, how long that took to get here. It seems that everything is taking a long time to get here. So just bear that in mind. So if you want one of these, get online now, find one in a shop, on eBay, wherever, and go and buy it. As soon as Ed's got any more, I'll let you know. Or has he got any more available for pre-order or whatever, I'll let you know. But at the moment, if you want one of these, you're going to have to go and find one. And if no one's got one, you're going to have to wait. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that review. It's going to take me about an hour now to get all this back in the box. On the whole, it's absolutely gorgeous. The only thing is I have 2 niggles. One is packaging with decals at the bottom of the box facing up. Please, please, guys, stop doing it. And 2 is there's a hell of a lot in here, all just stacked on top of each other, all just moving around. And as you can see, these clear parts, the bag has been quite sort of badly damaged, but luckily the parts haven't been scratched. And you've already seen this, how those levers are getting broken off. And yes, it's a minor thing, and I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, stop bloody moaning, stop fussing. But they've gone to the trouble of moulding those in, which is the first time I've ever seen anyone do anything like that. So why just sling them in a bag and chuck them in the bottom of a box, you know, with 24 other sprues on top of them? So that's the thing. So I'm now going to keep this separate. I'll put that in there, I'll bag it up tightly, and I'll make sure it doesn't get rubbed up against anything else. I'll keep this separate, bagged up in another bag. I'll put my decals inside my instruction manual so they won't get damaged. I can put that in there as well. And I can put it all back in the box carefully, which is what should have been done in the factory. That's my only complaint. Other than that, it looks like a beautiful kit. The instructions look very, very nice indeed. A lovely quality to them. Really, really nice. They've got colour call-outs throughout. You may disagree with them, whatever. The detail is just astronomical. I've never seen detail. This is probably the most detailed kit, interior-wise, out there. So, yeah, if you like all your interior stuff and fiddly bits, I suggest you go and get one, because it's a beauty. So, again, thank you for watching. Any questions, pop them down below. I can look back through the kit and answer them if you have any questions to ask. So I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.